Hello, I am Ross and welcome to Share a Story. I'm going to continue telling you the untold stories of a water dragon by Carmen Kardashian. And we're going to pick up from chapter 3. Just going to make myself comfy first. Right, here we go. Chapter 3. With every passing day, the friendship between our friends grew so strong that nothing would ever destroy this bond. Every dawn, Nessie would come to the surface to watch whatever was happening in the glen, keeping only her eyes and nostrils above the water, while the rest of her body was camouflaged and hidden by the dark loch. Early one morning, Nessie was disturbed from her nature watching and daydreaming by the screeching of a distressed bat, trying to escape the frantic attention of two ospreys. Flying a bit too close to the water, the terrified bat caught his wings on it, flipping himself head over heels into the loch. He flapped about desperately, but was unable to take off again. Nessie picked him up with her two front fins and placed him on her favourite rock, where she loved to hide. "Oh, don't be afraid. You are safe now. Nobody will harm you," Nessie whispered gently. After a few moments, the bat's heart regained its normal beat, and he managed to calm down. Oh, hello. Thank you for rescuing me. I am Tipsy, and that was another brush with death experience. Tipsy, are you the fruit bat who has come from Transylvania? The dragonflies told me you would come. Welcome, I am Nessie, a water dragon. Yes, I am the fruit bat, and I absolutely love fermented fruits. By the way, you wouldn't happen to have any, would you? Oh, sorry, I don't eat fruit, but I am so glad to meet you. I have been waiting for you, hoping you would have news from my cousin, Alex, continued Nessie, chuckling with excitement. Well, I'm sorry for the delay, Nessie. I would have come earlier, but I discovered a wonderful barn not far from here. It is filled with apples, hundreds of them, all piled up in big wooden barrels. As I was flying over the village, the smell of those ready-to-be-squeezed apples was so enticing to my nostrils that I had to try some. Fermented apples are my favourite food and always have been. After eating a few, all I remember is that my head got very light, while my wings got very heavy, and I fell asleep on top of the apples. Luckily, I woke up before some huge menacing machines squashed me along with the apples, replied Tipsy, hiccuping. Ah, you like danger, continued Nessie, laughing. Well, it seems that danger likes me. What a strange way to meet. You and Alex are both so friendly. But now for the news. Unfortunately, Alex can't make it to Scotland, but he would like to invite you to visit him, replied Tipsy. Kieran's bark interrupted their conversation as he brought the flock on their daily trip to the loch. Nessie picked Tipsy up and placed him on top of her head. Then she swam to shore to greet all her farm friends. She made sure she kept her head above water in case poor Tipsy slipped off. Good morning! Let me introduce you to Tipsy, the fruit bat. He's just been chased by ospreys and the poor darling ended up in these cold waters. Luckily, I was close by and managed to fish him out before he became dinner for the ospreys. Perfect timing, if I may say so. Hi, everyone, added Tipsy, flapping his wings to dry. Hello, Tipsy. You are one lucky fruit bat, said Rona, smiling. Are you the bat who knows Nessie's cousin? Asked Lutzer, just as excited as Nessie. Yes, my dear, that's me, he burped. Tipsy, we're all so glad to finally meet you. Where did you come from? Added Kieran, chuckling at the fact that Tipsy did seem a little tipsy. Well, I'm just at the beginning of my Scottish adventure, said Tipsy. Before my journey to the west, I was living on a beautiful island in the middle of a huge ocean. The island is full of exotic and scrumptious fruits. That is where my love for fruits started. As I grew older, I began preferring the fermented ones, as they made my head very light and helped me fly upside down. The island is in the shape of a triangle, and it has a very strange name. It is called Where From Island. Bizarre weather we used to have, with strong winds and many earthquakes. The ocean would change its mood suddenly, with no warning. Where from? That's a very strange name for an island, interrupted Rona. I ask myself a similar question every morning. Where to? Said Kieran. Where to today? Get it? He chuckled. Nessie chuckled too, hearing her friend's joke, and even Tipsy laughed. Oh, that's a good one, Kieran. However, the island earned its name for a reason. The winds used to throw up all kinds of weird-looking objects onto the beautiful white beaches. Small boats, heavy chests full of shiny little coins, all kinds of plastic, piles of wood, and once I even found a box full of bones. Bones? Wow, it's raining in my mouth at the word bones, slobbered Kieran, closing his eyes and thinking of the fat, juicy bones the farmer brought him the night before. Ah, Kieran, but these were human bones and human skulls, Tipsy continued. Nobody knew where all this freaky stuff came from, hence the island's name, Where From. Oh, I love it there. The winds keep bringing interesting, wonderful flotsam. Most of it rubbish, though. What an amazing place to live. Not knowing what you might discover from day to day, added Nessie in wonderment. I couldn't agree with you more, Nessie, replied Tipsy. In the middle of the island, there is a huge volcano. Its peak is shaped like an eye that watches over all the inhabitants. We named the volcano Maybe Today, as it always looks ready to blow, even when it's asleep. White smoke spirals out of it day and night. Around it, a long chain of mountains formed by hot lava eruptions from millions of years ago surround the volcano like a fortress. Deep in the heart of these mountains, there is an incredible cave called 1,000 Voices. My family and I used to hang upside down in it. We look just like stalactites, those cone-shaped minerals you often find in caves. The stalactites and the pools of water within it were created many years ago and transformed the cave into a haunting place. Why is it called 1,000 Voices? Nessie asked, intrigued by the name. Oh, that's because every time one of us would say something, thousands of voices repeated the same thing back, even after we stopped talking. Just like an echo. An amazing phenomenon. However, if all of us spoke at once, it would drive you mad. One evening, a little gust of wind blew, but I didn't think much of it, as the ocean's breeze often changes. Within minutes, the sky grew darker and the wind got stronger. I headed toward the cave for safety. You see, if rain touches my skin, the water gets quickly absorbed. My wings get heavy and I can't fly. Many other creatures also sought cover in the cave, as it was the only sheltered ground on the island in the time of storms. For the first time ever, the echo was dead. Nobody made a sound. Everyone was terrified, as all we could hear was the howling of the wind and the rumble of the thunder outside the cave. Mother Nature had unleashed her rage, and her unstoppable forces could be heard roaring and engulfing the island, terrifying every single one of us. How can I put it? It was exhilarating and scary at the same time. How long did the storm last, Tipsy? A captivated Nessie asked. It lasted until dawn, I believe. It was the longest night of my life. We all thought maybe today would erupt that night. It didn't, but its white smoke intensified, looking steamy and foggy, and we couldn't see its peak anymore. Once the ferocious storm had passed, I walked out to check the damage. The white foam that usually sits on the sand was absolutely everywhere. Dead branches and fallen trees had turned the beautiful island into an untamed wilderness, a devastated wasteland. Kieran barked, "Just like the glen after last winter's Mersey the storm, which left the farm and the trees flattened." "Just so," Tipsy agreed. But what was to come was even stranger. Thank you very much for listening. Please come back tomorrow to find out what happens.